courtesy of Ben Shapiro, talking about the left side of our book, which is not separated from, but a part of the Bible. The Old and New Testaments fit together seamlessly. The Bible is elegant from Genesis to Revelation. Phil Johnson joining us to respond to Ben Shapiro, doing a debate, an interview with an atheist, Michael Shermer, explaining what he believes about Messiah.
Jesus as the Messiah is a different figure than anything that exists inside Judaism. So when people say that Judaism predicts the coming of Christ, the change in the nature of what Christ is, what a Messiah would be, is different from Judaism to Christianity. So Judaism never posited that there would be God come to earth in physical form, and then acting out in the world in that way. Judaism posits that God is beyond space and time. Occasionally he intervenes in history, but he doesn't take physical form. It's one of the key beliefs of Judaism, actually, is an incorporeal God. So that means that the idea is actually foreign to Judaism of a merged God-man who is God in physical form, but then dies and is resurrected and all this.
Much there.
Yeah, again, he's talking about Jewish tradition, not the Jewish scriptures. I wish he could, sort of get away from the Jewish tradition and just look at the scriptures with fresh eyes and
it
say,
kind of reminds me of Eastern Orthodox folks.
Very much.
They quote the early church fathers more than the Bible.
Yeah,
Ben does it with rabbis.
That's right. And that's always been a problem in Judaism. And this is one of the things Jesus himself confronted when he scolded the Pharisees and said, you've used your tradition to nullify the Word of God. And that's exactly what you just heard in that clip, where he's saying the same thing those Pharisees would have said. Jesus can't be our Messiah because he doesn't fit the traditional Jewish view of what the Messiah is supposed to be.
Okay, so does the Old Testament point to some sort of God-man that would rescue people from their sins?
Well, all you have to do is read the first chapter of Hebrews to see that the Old Testament is full of references. They are sometimes shrouded in mystery.
Types and shadows. He's a better Melchizedek, a better high priest, better than the angels, etc.
Like all of prophecy, I think, is somewhat mysterious, so that you recognize it when it happens. You don't necessarily predict it ahead of time. You can't look at Bible prophecy and give dates and times and know exactly.
And typology is tricky. John Calvin said that God pratters to us. He gives us pictures, like the Exodus. It's, there's a picture in that of redemption. All right. I couldn't help but think about Isaiah 53.
Yeah, well, that's the key passage, actually, yeah.
Let me just scan over this. He was despised, rejected by man, a man of sorrows, despised. He's borne our griefs, carried our sorrows. He was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. We like sheep have gone astray. He was oppressed and afflicted. We thought that he was dying for his own sins, but he was actually dying for the sins of his people. That verse tells us that at least this Messiah is going to be the atoner for sins.
Right, no question.
What other verses tell us in the Old Testament this Messiah would be God?
Well, I would think of, for example, Micah 5:2. It's the famous passage that predicts Jesus' birth in Bethlehem. And it refers to him as the one whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting. So he's an everlasting being born in Bethlehem. That's pretty clear, I think. And then Isaiah, the other Christmas prophecies, Isaiah 9:6, for example, he'll be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. Those are clearly titles of deity.
So again, Ben not reading his Bible as much as he's reading the rabbis, coming up with a completely different understanding of Messiah. Therefore, he rejects Jesus Christ, which is a huge bummer.